Welcome to Sharing is Caring, a podcast brought to you by Care Dallas. I'm your host, Fritz Deichert, a recovery coach, a board member, and someone who's personally walked through the path of addiction, education, and healing. This podcast is our window into the world of addiction, recovery, prevention, and everything in between. Each episode, we sit down with real people, survivors, parents, professionals, artists, educators, and leaders from right here in North Texas, who are willing to share their stories, their truths, and their hope. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding, it's about connection, and most of all, it's about care. Because at Care Dallas, we believe that when we listen, we learn, and when we talk openly, lives change. So wherever you are on your journey, we're glad you're here. So let's start. And we're gonna get going with Dr. Lee Spencer.
What's up?
How's it going?
Hey. All right, man.
Lee Spencer, you are a
Addiction psychiatrist.
addiction psychiatrist. How long?
2013. So since 2013.
So how old are you?
I'm 44.
Wow. And everybody thinks you're like 30. You're the coolest dressed psychiatrist I've ever seen.
I get the Doogie Howser all the time.
Yes, exactly. You're an avid golfer, a fisherman, a father,
Right.
a husband.
Yep.
You fascinate me. You work in the most, the craziest field, addiction psychiatry. You could have just been a psychiatrist. And
Best.
oh, it's the best.
Makes the best.
Are you an addict?
Ask my wife. I'm not an addict to chemicals. Well,
Okay.
Well,
No.
for most.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golf.
Golf, I would definitely
Fishing?
say is an addiction. Fishing is an addiction.
And you're routine oriented, yeah?
Yeah, very routine.
Okay. I just want
Blessing and a curse.
yeah, but you use it for good, right? Because you work like what, 4 hours a day?
14.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we met. I'm a recovery coach, and we were at like a business development dinner, and I'd never met you.
Yeah.
I think you were kind of new, like you were getting going, and you stand up and you basically just, at these BD things, there's a room of 20 people, and everyone stands up and says, "Hi, I'm Fritz. I'm a recovery coach. I work with adolescents. I do sober, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I work at this rehab." And everybody kind of placates to the room.
Yeah.
And you stand up, and I remember I'm sitting right next to you, and you say, "I'm Lee Spencer. I'm an addiction psychiatrist. I'll treat anything, everyone, high acuity. I'll prescribe anything. If it doesn't work, I don't care. We'll go to the next thing. I'll try anything that's out there. I just want to help my guys." And I remember thinking, holy crap, I think I need this guy to be my psychiatrist. So we start talking. You love golf. You live in the neighborhood I grew up in. You're just a good dude. And I remember I said, "So if I go and see you, can I refer clients to you and can we be friends?" And you said, "No, it probably wouldn't work." So here I'm at this crossroads now. Am I going to be selfish and take you as my doctor, or do I want to be friends and have my clients come see you, or people that, my family members that see you now? And so we went that route. And so we bonded over golf.
Good call, by the way.
Oh, the best call.
Good call.
Right. Tough call.
That's why boundaries are important, right?
Yeah. Can you teach me about those?
Yeah, you want to talk about boundaries?
No, I don't. Let's avoid. But then the way the world works for me, it always just works out for me, right? I go through crap but I keep going. So we were on a golf course one day and I was telling you about, I don't miss getting high and having fun. I miss the misery, waking up not knowing where I am, puking, waking up on the bathroom floor, not knowing. I miss that. And, you gave me this article and it opened my eyes to that's not super uncommon. And then I started telling you about what was going on in my head. And I think, I'm 4 years, 5 years sober, 6 years, I guess. And you said, you should go see a psychiatrist. You might be bipolar too. He's called me out. And I couldn't explain what was going on. No one could get it right. And I was. So yes. And so, yeah. So I've just been so intrigued with you that you work in this field. So most people in this field are addicts. Why are you in addiction psychiatry if you're not an addict? Like, did you grow up where you had family members that were addicts? Why? What's the deal?
Yeah. I think there's probably several reasons.
Okay.
But number one, probably first and foremost, is it's comfortable with me. I feel most at home when I'm around addicts. If you don't have some kind of addiction, you're probably not very interesting to me. And I don't know if that's something, it says something more about me, or if it says something more about addicts themselves, but I think it's both, because I can tell you, like, what I'm looking for most in life more than anything else. I've had to figure this out about myself. What I'm looking for more than anything is authenticity. I want people that aren't BSing. I want people that are honest about themselves, are willing to take off their masks a little bit and say, or even admit that they had a mask on to begin with, and then say, okay, I've had this mask on. Now I'm going to take this mask off and I'm going to show you my true self. And then I'm going to put it back on. Right. And I get that like little bit of glimpse into who that person is.
That window.
That little bit of window. It might be only like a second or two. Right. But the thing I love about addicts versus the rest of us is that addicts admit that they've been wearing a mask, or they've been trying to use something to sort of cope with life or whatever, right? But it's like in the room, we know what it is, right? There's no pretending. It is what it is. And then they take it off and they're like their true selves.
Right.
And that's why I love people in recovery, because they finally can admit they're like, just as they'd say in AA, another bozo on the bus, right?
Yeah, here it is. Take me as I am.
Here it is.
You don't want it to
Like,
see it.
I'm flawed and I'm broken and I admit that, and like, okay, but I'm trying my best here, right? And like, I think the rest of us walk around and we put on airs and we try to act as though there's like nothing, that's some kind of weak, fragile defense mechanism that we're walking around with, telling everybody how cool we are and how much we want to be loved, and then nobody's ever saying that about themselves. And so there's always this like veil between me and the other person, or us and the rest of the persons, because there's this false self
Right.
projected. Anyway, so I think that's why
You're drawn to the chaos.
I'm drawn to the authenticity, and I'm drawn to the person that's willing to say, I don't have it all figured out.
Right.
Right. And that's what I grew up with in my family. I grew up with a ton of chaos,
Okay.
a ton of addiction.
Okay, what kind of chaos? Let's hear. So where are you from?
I'm from Mississippi,
What part?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yes. And now actually outside of Jackson. So I'm in the suburbs of Jackson.
Okay, what's your parents divorced together?
My parents are divorced. They divorced when I was at an early age, probably 6 months, a year old.
Oh, how many siblings?
I have an older brother and I have a younger half sister.
Okay.
My brother's 2 years older than I am. My sister's like 11 years younger than me.
Okay. What did your parents do? We're just going to get to know. So just real quick, we've done a lot of stuff together where we talk fentanyl awareness, parent stuff.
I don't think I've ever told you all this. Have I told you?
We have on the golf course a little bit, and I like know snippets, but like, again, this podcast, I don't want to give a fentanyl talk. Like, go find us online. There's a few.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, you're Lee Spencer, care board member, addiction psychiatrist, like I said, husband, father, all those things. Okay, so you grew up, your parents were divorced, you're outside of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, my dad is a priest. He is an Episcopal priest. And my mom is at that point maybe a chemistry teacher in high school chemistry teacher at like one of the most violent schools in the city, like proper Jackson, urban Jackson. Later on, she goes on to get her license in therapy. So she becomes a school counselor first. She's my school counselor in middle school. And I can't get away with shit. So then she goes back and she decides she wants to do private practice, gets her LPC, and it becomes a private practice therapist. And that was part of kind of what shaped my interest a little bit in psychiatry or in therapy. Because she would have sometimes she got really involved with her clients. And she would bring them over to the house sometimes if they were like teenagers that had no parents, or she had the kids that lived in really broken houses. She would like bring them over for dinner.
Oh, so no boundaries.
No boundaries, zero. So sometimes she would have groups even at the house, and she'd let me sit in on the groups and like even
really no boundaries. Wow.
But I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. And I was like, holy, this is awesome.
So what was the chaos? I mean,
my dad also, no boundaries. My dad was a priest. He was he would, I don't think he ever made $1 in his life. Like everything he made from whatever paltry salary he got from a church, like he would give back to poor, or he would take care of tornado victims, or we would be driving down to the coast because some natural disaster had happened, and we'd spend a whole weekend helping a family out. And like he gave, to a fault, gave everything that he had.
So did you grow up lower middle class? I mean, what was your...
Well, so his wife, my stepmom, was a doctor.
Okay.
So we were
You're
firmly
fine,
in the middle, upper class, whatever. My stepdad was a professor at the medical school. So, middle, upper middle, somewhere in there.
Did you get along with your dad?
Yeah, I love my dad. He's a very like charismatic, special person. Like he cares more about people than anything. And he would be right there. If there was something to be done, if there was somebody to be helped, he was fully alive. But sometimes he struggled with depression quite a bit. And in fact, he had bipolar disorder. So he would have times where he was really, really engaged in a process. He would go to a new church. He would like, in fact, there are several churches he built from scratch, from the ground up in very poor neighborhoods. He would build them up. Everybody would love him, would come kind of join in. He would sing songs. He would take care of the poor, bring people in. And he might do that for like 3 or 4 years.
Then
and
vanish?
Vanish. Or something would happen. He would crash. He'd get angry, or somebody would cross him, or something didn't go right. And then he'd get depressed for like 6 months.
So he'd hop around.
He'd hop around.
Go and make an impact, and then just hits the fan, and he's gone.
Yeah. Or he's asked to leave, right? Because he's gotten into conflict with somebody.
Is that and you were living with him at this? Like this is when you were.
I would live with him. So it was like every other weekend, and then it was like probably part-time during the week. And then in the summers, I'd spend quite a bit of time with him. But we lived in the same, like my mom and he lived in the same city. So we'd kind of split times.
Did you know when the chaos broke out? Like, would you see it as a kid? Like, oh, he burned it all down?
Yes. My brother did not, but I did, because my mom's side, my mom is much more structured, and my stepfather was like very structured, very rigid. Like dinner was at the same time every night. He cooked dinner, everything was prepared. He woke me up at 6:30 in the morning by turning on the overhead light, right? Like everything was done like on a routine, and he taught me order. He was kind of an asshole, but he did teach me order sometimes. I mean, he was an asshole sometimes. He didn't really know how to
Be any other way.
Didn't really know how to be a dad.
Yeah.
But he did his best, right?
Okay.
But then my dad, so when I went over to my dad's, and it was like he would sleep till noon, or he would, he made no income, or he'd be doing creative projects all night, or writing songs, or whatever.
Oh, so he's creative.
Oh, very creative, yeah.
Do you have that?
I wish I had more of it. I have some of it. I think on the golf course, maybe I get some of the.
And you're fly fishing,
Fly
right? You're,
fishing, yeah.
Is it making flies?
Tying flies, yes, Fritz, yeah. That's somewhere and
The most boring thing I've ever heard.
But he taught me music.
Let's go fish.
But he was very musical, and like he taught me the importance of art and music and like creativity, and how that provides like color in life.
Okay.
Because there's the other side where, like, for instance, my stepfather, much more rigid, much more rule oriented, like really helpful as far as structure goes, but not a creative, like,
Not color in the life.
colorful.
He painted in bland tones, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I thought later when after my father had died. I felt like life went from being in Technicolor to being in black and white. Right?
When
like
did he
it was
die?
really boring. He died in 2010, 2011, I believe.
Natural, I mean.
No, car accident.
Oh,
I think going to the hospital to help a parishioner, 2:00 in the morning. He's driving home. He shouldn't have been driving. And a drunk driver hits him, and
Oh, Lee, I'm so sorry.
it's all right. I think, honestly, like it probably was partly his fault, because he was probably shouldn't have
Maybe
been
how he
driving
was
at 2
supposed to
o'clock
go
in the
out
morning,
too.
right? And he loved to drive. He loved to take road trips. And he loved to help people. So at least like
He checked
he
every
died
box.
instantly. He died doing what he loved. And I think, he never accepted treatment for his bipolar disorder.
Oh, he didn't. And 2010, were you practicing?
I was a resident at Johnson.
So you knew. You're like, oh, your textbook right here. I've seen. Oh, it all makes sense now.
Well, so like I had a slight intervention with him, self-guided. I needed you.
Oh,
Ben.
yeah, okay.
I really wish you would have been on my team at that point, because we could have actually helped him. I had gone through medical school and was armed with every piece of knowledge that I thought I had, right? And I was like, okay, I got to go talk to my dad finally, I got to make a stand about this bipolar thing, because we always had to walk on eggshells and be really fragile about this whole like mood thing, right? Because he wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, you didn't know who you were gonna get.
So finally, I like sat down. I got my stepmom. She chickened out, so it was just me. And I sat down and told. He was sitting on the floor, and I was sitting on the floor. I was like, Dad, you've got certain patterns to your mood, And I think that it's causing problems in your life. I was real generic with it, right? I'd gotten coached up by one of the psychiatrists that I worked with as a med student. He's like, yeah, just approach him, just tell him it's like, just tell him your experience with it. And so I was like, okay, I'm telling you this experience. I think really you might think about getting, it really might help if you get some treatment or something like that. And he looked at me like I was a devil, like I was an idiot. And he was like, no, I don't know why you're coming at me with this. I can't believe you're talking about this. Like, this is none of your business, etc. Like, shut it down. Wow. Shut it down. And at that point I was like, fine, I'm out.
You tried.
I was like, I tried. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to assert some kind of boundaries. And I don't think I've talked to him. So we moved up to Baltimore and I did residency. And I don't think I talked to him for the first year, almost a year that we were up there. But he would do crazy shit. Like he would come finally visit us. And I don't know if this is all you want to hear, but
Come on, let's go.
visit us in Baltimore. And he would he would drive up. There's one story. He drove up there. He was bringing a moving truck because he had some stuff he wanted to bring to us. He was always getting stuff and bringing it. He had some stuff that he wanted to bring up in this moving truck. And he had a wad of cash that I was assuming he'd gotten from my stepmom, since he never really had any money or knew what to do with money. And he had written some songs or something, and he wanted to bring them to us. And he drove all the way up. He loved to drive. It's great that he died driving, because I think that was his passion. Drove all the way up to Baltimore. By the time he got there, he had $0. I don't know what happened.
The wad of cash was gone?
Yes, apparently it was at least $1,000. According to him, it had blown out the window when he opened the glove box. And so he literally showed up at our porch. It looked like he had not showered for like at least a day. And he was full of energy, full of life. He wanted to go and do.
He was on the good side of the bipolar.
He was on the good, well, kind of. He's like on this, like,
Felt good to him.
Felt good to him. And then he like instantly he always did this. We did this when we lived in New Orleans. He did this when we lived in Baltimore. He like made friends with the hardware store. So we had a hardware store guy that was like right across the street, and he loved to do projects. So he made super good friends. He would take him pastries, and he would like go spend all day with him while I was off at the hospital doing residency stuff, and my wife was like working on her house. He would want to come in and help with projects, and he would sleep downstairs in our basement, and he would then go and spend all day at the hardware store and then take us out to eat at night.
But it sounds like I'd get along with your dad.
You would. You'd love him. He's incredible. And his like personality, and he was like the funniest, most charismatic, like loving person. But at the same time, he was disorganized as hell. Like he just couldn't.
And you grew up in that.
But I don't know if, and I don't know if there's another way if there would have been another way for him to be. Like I always would have loved him to be on lithium and see what that was like, because when he was manic, he would do some real damage, like really. And when he was depressed, he would do some real damage.
Damage emotionally.
Yeah, relationships, like relationships would just end, and then we would just like he would be at a church in a particular city, and then we would just like it would be over, and then we'd have to move and act like it didn't happen,
and you lose all your friends and have to start over.
Yeah. And he blew, and so I think he would it would be tough for him to he couldn't maintain any long-term relationships, So I had set that boundary with him for a little while, and I think the hardest part for me was trying to figure out, okay, do I like set this like hard boundary and not talk to him unless he accepts treatment? And maybe that would have been like an acceptable thing,
right?
But at the same time, it was like my dad, and I kind of knew he probably wasn't going to last that long because of the way that he was going. Like it's just unsustainable.
Right.
In terms of these episodes of ups and downs. And so I came to this point where like I just was like, I'll just accept whatever time I get with you,
Yeah, you had to.
I had to. I did.
So you were on good terms when he passed. I mean,
we were on good terms. Yeah. We were
That's
pregnant. I had got to tell him that we were pregnant with our daughter.
Oh, good.
And like that was our last kind of interchange. And then he died in the middle of the night one night, and it wasn't like we were on, sour terms. Like it was a good way, I think, and I'd gotten to a point of acceptance where I could accept that he might die in some way. I might not ever see him. I might see him for the rest of my life. I had no idea, but like, in some ways it helped me to kind of come to terms with it. I had done my little intervention that I thought was important, right?
You kept your side of the street.
Didn't do a damn thing.
Yeah.
For me, it gave me like a peace of mind.
That's cool. And so he knew your wife, Mary Cheney.
He knew my wife.
Great lady.
Great lady. Yeah.
Y'all met.
Stable as can be. As stable as can be. And that has been.
Aren't you stable though? I would take you as a.
I'm pretty stable. Yeah, I'm pretty stable.
I've leaned on both of you in times of need.
She helps more than anything with my stability because like and talking like emotionally, she's just rock steady.
Yeah, I mean,
and that has helped me tremendously.
Yeah, and even me in my personal life, I've showed up on your front door at night and she just is calm and we don't even talk about what's going on. She's just been there.
Yeah.
So y'all met Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm. We met at Ole Miss. Well, we met before we went to Ole Miss, but then we went to Ole Miss together. She came from Dallas and we didn't date.
Okay.
I was a nerd. She was a party animal. We didn't really date.
You a nerd? Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. Funny. We didn't start dating till senior year, but we started dating after I helped her with a paper and
you turned on the charm?
We got engaged in the library.
Yeah. Did you have a belt on? You got engaged in the library?
Library, yeah.
You got
nerd. You think I'm a nerd? Yeah.
Did you have a belt on?
Yeah, I was wearing belts back then.
You know, I've never understood your.
I think it was an important accessory. Now I know it's a useless accessory.
It's the weirdest thing. You actually dress pretty good, except the no belt kind of throws me off.
I have one on today.
Oh, good. Thanks for showing up for me. Okay, so then you go Ole Miss to Tulane.
Yeah.
Does she follow?
Yeah, she followed.
So y'all got engaged at Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you?
22.
Oh, so how long? You've been married for 20 years?
We got married at 24, so we've been married this is our 20th anniversary this year. Yeah, you're right.
Coming up or it's happened?
No, it's already happened. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
So we got engaged.
Then
we got married.
Okay.
And then we moved to New Orleans.
Okay.
To go to Tulane.
Yep.
I move in first because she's finishing up her job in Jackson. I moved down there to start school.
Okay.
I start school for 3 weeks. Hurricane Katrina hits week 3. Okay. So we just moved to New Orleans. We literally had our like wedding presents in boxes. She came down Friday night, finally came down to join me, like, and lived down there with me. We had a great apartment on Napoleon. We're like, oh, this is great. We're like going to move in. We're going to have a happy life. It's going to be wonderful. Like literally that night we go to bed. We wake up the next morning. I was like, we got to evacuate. Like, this is the real deal.
She brought it.
She brought all the. She brought her. Maybe she brought her.
Mary Cheney.
Brought her. We bring natural disasters wherever we go. But this one, like we brought Hurricane Katrina. So we evacuated and didn't move back to our.
Where'd y'all go? Back to Jackson?
We went to Jackson. The hurricane came through there. We went to Dallas. We lived in Dallas with her parents for, I don't know, 3 weeks while they figured out if Tulane was gonna redo the flooded hospital or were we gonna go to a new school. They decided to move us to Houston. We went to our Tulane brought its professors over and we studied at Baylor in Houston for like a year. And so we lived in 4 different apartments in Houston. And then they finished the school. We moved back to Tulane. So our first year of marriage, we probably lived in 9 different apartments. So chaos was always.
And you survived. A lot of people get brought down by that.
True. It could definitely bring you down, but we stayed together and like.
Yeah. Now 2 kids.
All we had was each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess, you don't have community because you don't have time to make community.
That's right. Yeah. We just always had each other. And then we finally moved back to New Orleans and we had a great time. We love New Orleans. Like we stayed there for 3 years and it's the most chaotic city.
Oh.
So I think that's also, like you said, the chaos of things I'm kind of drawn to.
You're good at it. I mean, we've shared clients where we've been in it and we've had some unique, acute cases. And I think, I always say it slows down. Chaos for me.
How do you like it?
I thrive in it. I like it because it gets me going.
Uh-huh.
I was good at it.
Feel like alive or something?
Yeah, I always say I was a professional drug addict, right? I didn't fail at it. I got sober. It broke me, but I thrived in it. I knew how to. It slows down.
But is it something that you knew before, like me? Like, was your life like that? Because
yeah, I stirred up chaos in my house. I behaviorally, before I did drugs, antagonized my father and my mom and got in fights and I broke things and got angry and it all, again, when you told me you wanted to get checked out, it all made sense, my past, where it came from, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's why I think I like this job. It's hard being a recovery coach and doing intervention.
But it's chaos. It's crisis to crisis, right? Like,
Yeah, and these families are freaking out, and I'm like, we're good. Mom, dad, sister, brother, husband, whatever. And so yeah, I mean, I like what you just said about living in 4 places in a year. It sounds freaking awesome. Like, sign me up right now. I'm all for it, right? Like, I don't know. I think
because it's like an adventure.
I don't know if I grew up in, if we call my household chaos, but my dad worked for the Texas Rangers. He traveled 8 months a year. He was, 3 seasons, 10 days, come home. He'd be home, but he'd sleep till noon. I'd go to school. He'd go to the ballpark. He'd get home at 11. And then I started going to the ballpark, and I worked out there, and I kept stats as from 14 to 18 for TV announcers. I'm around professional scouts, and that's a chaotic world, live TV. And then my mom, unique, loud, exciting, and just like crazy. I'd be hungover as a senior in high school on a Saturday. My brother's in his room upstairs practicing the bagpipes. You know how loud the bagpipes are? And just like stuff
Like
that.
like it'll blow out an entire stadium.
Right.
We're just
We're just kind of going. And so, yeah, I think I grew up in our own kind of chaos.
yeah, and it's like familiar.
Yeah. And so it's funny you said that. I've been learning. I was talking to somebody. I went to dinner on Friday with a guy I play golf with, and I'm learning that it's okay that some days just feel the same as the day before.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay with that. It's weird. It's not, I don't have to go do something, right? I don't have to fill it with shopping or playing golf or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Um,
But boredom, it's like
boredom's my killer. It won't make me relapse, but it makes me just, my brain goes, right?
Yeah.
I think everyone associates me, I would think, as, drug addict, crazy Fritz. Now sober Fritz, probably still crazy.
still crazy, yeah.
But I always had the depression. I had the downs, like you said about your dad, right? I love the highs. You get, like, today, I'm riding that wave, like, let's go. Medicated.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
the lows were hard.
you don't have to fear the drops.
No. And right, the drops don't hit me. The drops are scary because you can burn bridges. You're down, you're tired, and you don't want to shower, right?
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah.
But
But that's part of it. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people in general, but particularly addicts, struggle with is boredom.
yeah.
How do I deal with this stable,
Yeah.
humdrum, non-interesting,
So kind of like what,
day-to-day life?
right. I think, you tie fishing flies, right? And you've seen that you have a secret room. You're the biggest nerd. You have like, I associate, you have that big round magnifying glass. It's what my grandmother and aunt and mom stitched needlepoint with.
Yes.
But you're there, and
High and fly.
out in the front yard, and right.
Well, there's nothing cooler than when you
No, you're good.
you come up with a fly pattern. No, you come with a fly pattern, then you tie it on your fly rod, and then you get a fish to take that. Like, that's it.
Okay, but you're practicing, right, in your front yard or backyard?
Every now and then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, my boredom, I learned reading. I love to read. So I get sober, I come back, and move in my parents' back house. And I'm working for the Rangers, and I'm with my dad, and one night we pull in real late after a game, and he says, I worry about you up there, pointing to where I'm staying. He said, you're up there alone. I'm worried. The boredom, right? I was like, I have to learn, Dad, to be by myself, right? And I just started reading. I read every book about the Kennedys. I read every chick flick beach read.
Oh, so not just
I rotate.
intellectual stuff. Like, you like
Yeah, I'll read, like, if I
stories.
or biographies, or then I'll read like Taylor Jenkins Reid, who she writes. They're like intelligent beach reads, right? I'll read poetry. I just like learned that I like that.
Yeah.
I liked buying the books. I liked stacking them. Like, that's another, like, the addiction pops in. Like, if I read a book on my iPad, I still buy it, and I like to see it. Like,
You like the paper. You like to hold it.
yeah, and I like to see, like, so like last year I read 36 books last year, and they stack up, and I just look at them and I can stare at them. I'm like, all year long, right? And I keep notes in each one. My brain works in this way, and I have to, and so, yeah, but I had to learn to be alone. Or
Yeah.
I always say, if I write a book, what am I supposed to do with my hands? I go out, give me a water, I chug it, it's gone. And then your concert,
Yeah. What do you do with your hands?
right? Because if you have a drink, you're holding it, right? It looks normal. But for me, nobody gives a shit. But I think they do.
Yeah. But it makes you, yeah, you like, I think I'm with you. If we're going to write a book on addiction and recovery,
What do you do with your hands?
how do you handle boredom?
Yeah, and that doesn't mean like I go play golf. Like, there's stuff I do, but there's also gonna be times where I'm gonna be bored.
Yeah.
Everyone is. And I talked to my therapist about it. It's like, Fritz, it's okay to, like, You don't have clients all day? Watch TV. Like, I want to get down on myself. What am I doing?
Right.
But she's like, no, you're recharging.
Yeah, but do you think that's like, here's my theory on that. I wonder if it's part of like we all desperately want to feel alive, like really alive. I don't know. I think we all want that to some extent. Addicts probably a little bit more than others.
Yeah.
Us that are drawn to chaos, probably a little bit more.
Bring on the adrenaline.
Because it makes us feel relevant. It makes us feel alive. And like life isn't just like a meaningless pit of.
So what do you do for that? How do you go about finding that you feel alive?
I do, well, number one, as a psychiatrist, I'm like meeting with patients, like having heart-to-heart real conversations. I feel like, okay, this is relevant. Like I'm doing something that I think is somewhat helpful and maybe important, and I'm not just going through the motions of life. Like I feel very privileged to have conversations with people that are very meaningful. And like we're talking about stuff that they might even tell their spouses, right?
Yeah, never
Like,
told.
that to me makes that like helps me feel very meaningful and present and alive. But I mean, things like the golf course to me too, like competition. Like I wouldn't try to go down to this mid-am USGA qualifier and play terrible, but like I'm like putting myself out there. There's nowhere to turn. Like your score is going to be posted in front of everybody. You got to putt everything out, right? Like
the ones you get in the game.
Yeah, the 12 inches are like
I'd rather have a birdie putt from 40 feet than a par putt from 3.
Exactly, of course, and with everything on the line, right? But like that kind of competition, I think, and I'm not even trying to beat the next guy, right? I don't even care. I'm competing with myself.
Yourself, yeah.
And that makes me feel like alive because I'm in the present. I'm playing. I'm like,
so if you don't have a qualifier,
not thinking about anything else.
will you? Oh, teach me how to not think about anything else on a golf course, Lee, because I can't think about golf on the golf course, and I can't not think about golf off the golf course. Okay, so when you don't have
That's the dilemma.
yeah, when you don't have a qualifier or tournament, you
Well, there's money. I mean,
play for money with your buddies.
Games,
Yeah,
money games. is
$5
huge.
get you off.
Oh yeah, doesn't matter. It could be $1, or it could be like on this Nebraska trip I just went on. I don't think anybody paid anybody out, but it was like for the pride.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Or is like to be able to say,
yeah,
I
Well,
shot a 72 for the tips or whatever.
I'm part of this nonprofit we just started, TGA, not Texas Golf Association. We're the Treatment Golf Association. It's a bunch of guys in recovery that work for treatment centers or do what I do or view. And there's all these conferences all over, right? So we've now made these golf tournaments centered around these conferences where you're a TGA card holding member, you pay dues. At the end, the winner, whoever wins gets to pick the money that they won to go to what charity they go to.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it goes to charity.
That's cool. And we get to pick. So like, okay, we just did like a real impromptu one right after the floods. We went down to to Austin and played 18 holes. There was 16 or 20 of us, and it's low net, and everybody had bets within it. Like we were playing Nassau skins, and the winner we donated it to this men's sober living, a nonprofit that their house flooded, and these guys are living in hotels. Can you imagine if you're at a nonprofit sober living, you're probably at your lowest point.
Yeah.
You're trying to do it with a bunch of other guys, sober living with dudes, and a flood wipes your house out, and now you're at some random hotel.
Yeah.
So we did this impromptu thing, and I'm just going to say Zach Plyler, I won. We donated the money. We had some guys match. And so we've been doing that. And
that was your choice with what you donated to.
Well, no, that one, the impromptu one, was going to go no matter what. But we found out, like, we didn't want to just give it to flood relief. We like looked around to see, and that one hit home with us, sober living.
Obviously. Yeah.
And so we do this. So we've had 5 Driftwood sponsors one. New Day, Ben Hammond, they sponsored one. I did one, the Fritz Classic.
Sweet.
Locked in the head by a golf ball. I went deaf for 10 seconds. Probably concussion. They found me. They were on 14 green. I was wandering around 4 fairway, listening to music. Like,
oh dear,
4th. It was okay. And we do points like the FedEx Cup. So at the end, we go to Boot Ranch, courtesy of Josh Slay, and the top, I think it's 10 or 14, get to stay free at Boot Ranch, and the TGA pays for your rounds, and it's the Driftwood Cup.
How cool is that?
Okay, so we have our last event in San Antonio. It's a New Day, and I love it because, yeah, I gamble within it. You know how I am. I'll take any action from anybody. I don't care how good at golf. Give me the best golfer. Give me the shittiest golfer.
Never play with you without having some kind of...
Yeah, you have to, because I don't see it any other way. But you know what I've learned is it feels good to beat all these guys in the industry. Like, we have this big group text, and people that aren't even in these events are watching on the app. Oh, Fritz won.
Oh, yeah.
Or Grant won, or Zach won, or Corbin played terrible.
So a little ego pop.
Yeah, it's not as necessarily like ego, but also it's like pride. It's like I take pride in all of us take pride in our golf game. Where you see your buddies, what's your index at right now?
Right.
Oh, you're broomstick putting or you're tinkering?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, as an addict, I think it makes me feel alive. And I'm with all my guys who we talk about it. I go through some hardships in life, and those guys are there for it.
Yeah. Right.
Right? Being vulnerable with men, I've been vulnerable with you. I've gone through hell and back around you multiple times and told you things that I would never tell anyone, and just because I feel non-judged, right? And the thing we wrote, this isn't about judgment. It's about understanding and connection.
That's right. And being willing to be vulnerable, like
with a man too, that's hard.
especially with a man.
If I walk in your house, Mary Cheney, and you were there, I think most people would gravitate towards Mary Cheney, the woman, right? I think that's for some reason with guys, especially with addicts. I think probably mom was the enabler, or just.
Yes.
But I've learned was with you, right? I
A
buried
little
it
feminine.
all.
Little feminine.
Right.
Yeah.
And with these guys in this group I play golf with, and we go all over. We're all open. We know it's going.
Well, so that's
Our marriage.
and that's a huge thing about golf is like I thought getting into golf, I'd love it most for the competition and the sport aspect of it, and I'd want to do it solo. But actually, the thing I love most about golf is the camaraderie,
Right. And
the relational aspect of it, and what it brings people together that otherwise would never be brought together.
right. So on the golf course, being vulnerable with guys, even guys not in addiction, right? I just had the podcast number 2 with Gilbert Freeman, 70-year-old guy, lost both his sons. We bonded over being vulnerable with each other. He had a golf tournament for the 24-hour club for the 24 at your home golf course, 24.
Cool.
And
Great spot.
we're watching Gilbert talk a little bit about his son's passing, and I have guys asking me, what's that like? And they're kind of trying to be vulnerable, right?
Yes.
And that's been my biggest thing in recovery is vulnerability, right? That's what I learned, Brene Brown, right? Vulnerability, the tightrope. So I'm tattooed. People always ask, because I don't walk out on the tightrope of life with my footing. I'm on my hands, I'm holding on. But vulnerability is, I'm going to tell you that I just struggled in my personal life bad. I just fell and crashed. I'm going to walk out on the tightrope. And if you don't grab me and say, yeah, come here, let me hold you and help you, and I fall, I'm okay with falling, because I'm going to climb back up. I'm going to get back on them. And I found with a lot of men in our field, you in particular too, you catch me. Like I walk across and you're right there. You sometimes meet me out there and help me limp the rest of the way. And that's been a lot to me.
Yeah.
Especially from you. I mean,
well, that's what it's for, man. That's what, I think in general as men, we suck at having relationship with other men, right? We just feel like we can't really open up to other men. That's not what it's for. Our men we're supposed to be bros, and we're supposed to be like tough. And I know that we talk a lot about this in a cliched manner, but it's really true. I think if we don't have 2 or 3, all we need is like 2 or 3, right? Men that we can really open up.
better there.
Maybe we give some men snippets of vulnerability, and that's back to that authenticity conversation. Like if you have 2 or 3 people you could really be authentically yourself with and struggle with, it makes a huge difference, right? Just to feel like you can share, like some of that you can let go of. Somebody else can kind of absorb some of that stuff.
And they can care. Again, this isn't about judgment. It's about understanding, connection, and most of all, it's about care, right? And that's what we're looking for as humans, right?
And then we're not alone, that we don't have to do this by ourselves.
Right. And that, there's a guy that I play golf with. He always says, he's kind of not the most vulnerable, but he says, I'm old, but I've been through the same stuff you have with women, with work, with life, and it's not different. The time's different, the year's different, but it's the same, right?
It's the same.
And you said the thing about 2 or 3 and you give other guys snippets. You know what I like to do? I get vulnerable with the guys that never do vulnerability. And I kind of like to watch them.
Force the issue?
Not force it, but I don't force anything upon them, but I bear all. And it's the ones that surprise me the most that they reciprocate back.
Huh, I like that.
And you're like, whoa, that grumpy old dude, he can be vulnerable.
He gave you like a little piece.
Yeah.
It's like a challenge.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I think probably a lot of people benefit from that. Like you show them, you give them a little chance.
Why not?
To open
It's
up.
like if
they're not going to get hurt, right?
You said my thing with authenticity, if I can talk, I'm loud and I can maybe acquire taste at times, but I've learned that if you don't want me for me, that's okay.
Yeah.
There's people I don't want for them, and not like I don't like them, but it's just, We don't. But I've found that I bring it out, and I like it, because then I meet guys like you, and you stand up, and I say, "Holy shit, should this guy be my therapist?"
Yeah.
No, and bond. I mean, we've talked, and then you've been honest, and okay.
And I think that's part of it. Like sometimes you want to put, like, you find somebody that helps you be vulnerable, or that you connect with in some ways. And we want to like hold on to that. Right. Like, I think that's some part of our issues as humans, is we want to possess these things, but really, so we're not always called to do that. Sometimes it's just like experience that for what it is for a time. And then, okay, if it's not going to, like, we're not going to fall apart if we're not grasping so hard to that wire all the time.
Right.
Right.
It's okay to kind of let go.
We're
Yeah.
gonna be all right.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up, but so you've been married 20 years, you have 2 girls.
2 girls,
So you're a girl dad.
girl dad,
Just like
13 and 9.
Are they gonna play golf?
The younger one is starting to get interested. Yeah.
Are they gonna fly fish?
My older one's interested in fly fishing. Yeah. So I got one of each there.
Wolf.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I've been married 20 years. What's the best highlight of your 20-year marriage? Just off the top of your head.
Oh, geez. I think struggling together. Like, I honestly, I don't know if it's because we were talking about it, but I think of Hurricane Katrina and what we went through that. Like, I don't think I could have done it with anybody else. But I think that actually became a highlight for us because we're so bonded over that stuff.
Yeah, you always have it.
Yeah, so bonded.
And y'all, if you have an issue of a bad day, you come home, she's there.
She's there about it. She's always there. She doesn't, like, she will talk about it with me if I have an issue. She doesn't always want to talk about work, which I kind of appreciate. She's different, and she's artistic like my dad. She's like right brain.
Oh, she is.
Yeah. And so that helps me. Like, I feel more grounded when I'm around her because I'm like, okay, I don't have to be all left brained anymore.
Yeah. Okay, so artistic music, what music you listen, what do you got on? You get in the car, you turn music on, what is it?
Well, I was just listening on the airplane yesterday to a guy named Lee Fullback. He's a Canadian folk artist.
Okay.
Really sings from the heart.
Okay.
Sometimes that's good. Sometimes I want a little bit more like up-tempo stuff, but yesterday was in more of a down-tempo.
You heard, have you listened to Green Sky Bluegrass? You should check them out.
Green Sky.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic.
All right, I'll check that out. If you'll check out Lee Fullback.
Yeah, deal. I'll do it right now in the car. My mom's gonna drive me home, and I'll listen to it right now.
I can listen.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's always good hanging with you.
Yeah, it was nice that we didn't have to you didn't have to be all, our duo, the reason I think people like us is you're like this nerd doctor, this PowerPoint.
Well, it's nice being able to.
And then I get to drop F-bombs and and then you take over and we go.
You're like the cool guy, and I'm like,
I don't know about that. I think I'm more the obnoxious guy, right? I can own my.
yeah. But the thing about you, Fritz, is that, like, you're shockingly intelligent, right? And I think you sometimes downplay some of that, but I think every now and then it comes across as glimpses, right? And so, like, I appreciate that about you. You can be color, but you're also shockingly intelligent.
I appreciate that,
Yeah.
I guess.
I didn't mean to make you blush, but
No, I'm trying to process that. Because I do process. You know that. I can.
a fast process.
I'd
kill for a processor like that.
Oh, no. I'll try with you any day. A little Freaky Friday action. And then just so we know, so the reason I'm involved with CARES Dallas is because of you. You're a board member.
That's right.
I was helping out, doing some classes, and you talked to a bunch of people at the high school, and I sat in the back. Somebody told me I wasn't allowed to talk during it, so I was banished to the back. And you called me out, and then we basically dominated the whole room with conversation and questions, and you got me on the CARE board.
Well, you got me into CARE to originally. Like, you introduced me to Susan Morgan.
Okay. And then you got on board, and yeah, and we've back and forth, and now we're
Give and take, yeah.
Yeah, and check out CARE. I think, we've got a great team right now. Yeah.
CARE's the best.
And
it's growing and changing, and it's exciting.
and we're getting back to our old ways, but in a more modern touch. So, Lee, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Fritz.
Huge shout out to my producers, Jan Osborne, Caitlin Garza, and Peter Pursley. Thanks, Junior Haley and Dulce at Pellicula Media. Special shout out to our support dog, the greeter at the front door, Rigsby. And once again, Lee, thank you. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sharing is caring. Yeah.
That's right.
Thanks, dude.
Keep it up, man.
All right.
See ya.